Good evening, Facebook land. Good evening, friends. This is Carolyn Lang, and today I was working for my getting my schedule ready here before doing some meal planning. The reason I was doing all my meal planning now, I usually do it on the weekend, but I'm doing it now because I'm getting ready to go on a trip with my husband, and it's kind of exciting because we've been married for 30 years in December. And this is the first time since 2010 that we've gone on a trip together. Hi, Robin. Nice to see you. First time we've been on a trip together since we went to Africa, to Liberia to get Abraham. And before that, it was 2008. So we don't get away very often, as you can tell. And what I was doing was trying to get things set up and ready for this trip that we're taking. So one of the things that some of the people have asked me is, how do I get everything done? And I obviously don't get everything done because I am doing my meal planning this late in the game. But I have found that when I do meal planning, it helps make everything run smoothly. And I've done different kinds of meal planning through the years. When I was homeschooling a lot of kids, then I would plan 2 or 3 meals a day and then have those rotate through. So really just kind of play it by ear in terms of what you need. But just some of the things that I do. And Robin, if you've got some ideas, you can type something in down there for me too. But one of the things that I do for meal planning, and what I find that really helps, like I said, is it helps me to get things done. When I have the meal plan already set up, I don't have to stop and think at 4 o'clock or whatever time you eat, what am I going to have for supper? Or, gosh, I forgot to take the chicken out or something like that. When I have my meals planned out for the week, then I can just check on it, go and get something out of the freezer, or do some prep work during the day to make it go a lot smoother. Sometimes I also do planned leftovers. I can make a big batch of something and then I have something for 2 meals a day, or I make brown a big batch of hamburger and then I use it for 2 different meals. I also utilize what I call smorgasbord days. When I have all kinds of little leftovers in the refrigerator, we pull them all out and then make sure that we don't have as much food being wasted. So how do I meal plan? Like I said, I've done it different ways over different times, but what I usually do is, first of all, I check my calendar for the upcoming week, deciding when we have basketball games, or I have a daughter that's a cheerleader. Kindness is a cheerleader, Robin. So she's a cheerleader this year, and in soccer season, then we've got games and different things. So we check the schedule and see where everybody is going to be, who's going to be home, when are the boys working, things like that, and kind of get a feel for that. And that will help me determine then whether I have to have a crock pot meal kind of day or a freezer meal, something like that. The other thing that I do is then I check all the sales flyers. Now, Robin, I know you're a big couponer. I was doing that for a while, but I never really got into it quite like you did. But if you're a couponer, then definitely you have to check the sales flyers and use what you see for what you can get best deals for then to plan your meals. So if you've got the chicken is on sale, but you had fish on your menu, well, maybe you need to kind of switch that around again to really utilize the best prices that you can get. The other thing that I do is I kind of go with themes. Sometimes I'll do meatless Mondays. Maybe it'll be Italian night, chicken night, fish night. I do breakfast for supper. I do a kids cook. So that way everybody, like I taught all my kids how to cook by having them be responsible for 1 meal a week. And each of my kids have different specialties, but they've all learned to cook well. So then I choose my meals for the week. Some of the other things that you can do is, like, if you have building it up, so I have 2 or 3 months worth of meal plans, and then I just rotate the weeks through or even rotate the whole month out. So it's a lot easier for me that way. But like I said, choose whether you're going to be planning for just one meal a week, or I'm sorry, one meal a day. Obviously, you're going to eat more than that, but make it sure one meal a day or 2 meals a day, and then having, say, breakfast, available breakfast goods. But some of the benefits, like I said, were the list of the meals, so you can shop for the ingredients and make sure that they're all on hand. I mean, that's one thing I hate. I mean, you used to live farther out of town, and so, and actually growing up on a farm, we would do the meal planning like that because I would go into town once a week to go get groceries. And so I would stockpile, what I needed. So now I'm living in town and I can go to the grocery store at any time, but then you're wasting your gas money, your time, and you usually buy more impulse purchases then. But when you have a meal plan written out, or at least a list of meals, then if something comes up during that day and it's just crazy, you can just swap something around for a different day. The other thing is I will develop a list, like I said, of the 2 months, and you can do this on just plain old paper. You can do it on Trello, Evernote, Google Docs, Google Sheets. Those are all different tools that you can use to create all of your lists of menus. And you can keep in mind the different dietary needs for the family and so forth, and utilize those also in your meal planning. So this week, what I am working on, like I said, I'm not going to be here, so it's going to be the kids doing it. We have a lasagna in the freezer that Erin made a few weeks ago. Erin is my 25-year-old daughter who's going to be staying here and keeping everybody in line while we're gone. I'm also making a big batch of Liberian peanut soup. Hi, Michelle. Nice to see you. We're talking about meal planning. So I'm making a big batch of Liberian peanut soup, and then we'll serve that over rice. And that makes, like I said, a big batch. So the kids like that to be able to have for a lunch snack or something. Now, Abraham and Carl, my sons, are off school right now, waiting to go back end of January. So they'll be home for lunches here and there. So having the soup in the refrigerator is handy for them because they like to eat a lot and often. Yeah, Michelle, I know you've got a good blog going there. The other thing I do is have all 4 kids choose one meal that, like I said, they're going to prepare. And that even includes Kindness. Her meal that she's chosen are hot dogs. And I think she might be doing macaroni and cheese. Maybe not necessarily the most healthy meal, but it is a way for her to participate and help out. And that's what's important as well. I think Carl wants to do some sort of a breakfast for supper idea with bacon and sausage and eggs and that sort of thing. He's working at a restaurant now, so he's got some good ideas that he wants to do. And then again, like I said, my daughter Erin she is finishing up her semester, her winter term at the school, nursing school. So now she'll have a couple of days before she goes back to semester. So she has some ideas of what she wants to cook because, she hasn't had a lot of time when she's in nursing school to do any cooking. So she's got some ideas as well. So then I'll be finishing up that, and then I make out my huge grocery list of everything that I need, go and get the ingredients. So that was my ideas on meal planning. Like I said, if this is helpful, give me a thumbs up. I saw a couple of them. You can add anything to the discussion. Drop me a little note in your comment section of some of maybe the websites or other ideas that you have used that really are helpful with meal planning. I can always use good ideas. But yeah, that's what's happening. And so I will let you know how this works out afterwards. But thanks for joining me, and we'll see you again tomorrow. Have a good evening.